you remember the first time you felt consciously inspired to write a song?
Oh, definitely. I think because like probably about this time 2 years ago, the Snuts were playing at the SUW3 down the road in Glasgow, and they basically were playing Glasgow, like, well, which is my favourite one by them anyway, and like the whole crowd was singing along, and then right after they finished, they sort of announced that they'd quit their day jobs, they'd been signed to a label, like this, that, and the next thing. And I sort of was just like in the crowd, like having followed them in their like come up and seeing them, you know, achieve greatness like that and then go on to do even better stuff now. That's definitely, you know, what inspired me to. I already played guitar, but that's definitely what inspired me to pick it up and actually try and write songs.
So had you written a lot of songs prior to that? Or
No,
was that the kind of
nothing.
first?
That was Transparent. The first one I released was my complete first effort at writing a song, which is a bit weird, but yeah.
So was that the song you wrote after that show?
Yeah, straight away.
Do you remember the first time you showed it to someone or played it to someone else?
Yeah, put it to my brother first actually. It didn't seem that fussed, to be honest, but showed it to a couple of my friends afterwards. I think 3 of them. Showed it to my mate Angus, Jess, and Fraser, and they basically were the ones that told me I had to stick it up on Spotify. So credit to them, I guess.
It's quite a reflective track, kind of quite self-doubtful, kind of taking a look
Yeah.
in on yourself. How does tackling feelings like that in a song kind of impact the way that you're dealing with them in your life?
Oh, getting it out on, you know, just your guitar and I guess on paper, getting it out into the world as well, definitely takes that weight off your shoulders. But it's funny in a way because people can listen to that song and take their own meaning from it, and it might not mean to them what it meant to you writing it. And I think that's probably the beauty of songwriting. But definitely, writing songs helps me, you know, get stuff off my chest and deal with things for sure.
Has the meaning of that song changed with time for you, or does it stay the same the whole way through?
No, it's definitely still stay the same. I think, yeah.
Are the events now then that kind of inspire you to write songs today, do they kind of differ to what initially inspired you to first start writing? Even without the Snuts, just the things that kind of first sparked songwriting within you?
Yeah, definitely. I think my songwriting style's changed quite a lot over time to sort of maybe reflect things that I've seen other than things that maybe have just happened to myself directly. But yeah, I definitely need to actually experience life to, you know, write songs and have experiences happen to me rather than other people who are geniuses in my eyes that can just make up stories and write basically about anything and still sounds good and the lyrics are still cool. But yeah, I definitely need life experience to write stuff.
Do you know when an experience is happening that it's going to be turned into a song?
Oh,
Or has that ever happened?
probably in retrospect. Maybe not in the moment, but I might, you know, in a day or two after, I might realise that, or it's actually just weird, it'll be in passing in conversation, someone will say something and it'll sort of snap in my head that maybe that'll be a good lyric or a good sentiment to, you know, build a song on. Or like movies, TV, anything, just like wee one-liners and you can build whole songs around them. It's kind of cool.
It's interesting as well that you mentioned life experience, because if you think about songs like Edinburgh or Tangerine Blood, they kind of come from not just one experience, but a set of them, a kind of collective thing that kind of builds.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that different writing a song like that as opposed to a song that comes from a singular experience? Is the approach different in any way when you're trying to encompass a whole load of things into it, like over the span of your life?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think for songs that are sort of one experience, you're in the moment of that one thing, and things can be more, I mean, maybe real lyrically and maybe closer to your own life experiences, whereas if you're writing a song like Edinburgh, and it's about, you know, the whole town and just growing up in it, I guess you've got a little bit more leeway to maybe write things that might have happened to other people or stuff that you've seen rather than very personal things instead, yeah.
Did you have an idea like of the little details when it came to Edinburgh that you wanted to include? Because there's a lot of kind of name dropping and
I definitely wanted to drop a few names in there. Your Lothian Road, Arthur's Seat and stuff, yeah. I had that in mind before I wrote, came and wrote the song, so it was just a case of slyly dropping them in.
As the way you think and feel about Edinburgh as a place that you kind of grew up in a town, Has that changed since you've now moved to Glasgow? Is this the first time you've lived outside of Edinburgh?
No, well, I moved to America at the beginning of this year and lived in New York for a while, which is the first time away from home, which is basically what inspired Edinburgh. But I mean, the song's just about, like, you know, never forgetting the place that you grew up and the people that you grew up with. And I think, actually, the more time I spend away from Edinburgh, the more that feeling sort of resonates with me. So yeah, I miss home, but I'm enjoying Glasgow for sure. Yeah.
Did you get quite homesick when you were in New York? Because that's so far away.
Yeah, I mean, a wee bit, and I think it was definitely amplified by the fact that I met a lot of Scottish people out there. But it's America and it's New York, so you're bound to bump into people from home and stuff. But when I was out in America, I sat with a wee Scotland flag when I was playing guitar in like Central Park and stuff. So it was very easy for people to spot, you know, where I was from. So got loads of Scottish people coming up to me and making me play like Jerry Cinnamon and stuff. So it was nice to have that bit of home, but it did also make me miss it at the same time.
How big a role do you think your Scottish identity plays in your songwriting?
Probably a massive one. I mean, especially after writing Edinburgh, and especially sort of as a small artist, you know, it's all grassroots and it's people supporting you from home or from Glasgow and second home or places like that. So definitely a big thing, I would say, for sure.
When did you first start to get involved, like, in that grassroots music scene and kind of get your way into that? Because was that the first time you kind of had a sense of community from music? Or?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been to like all your gigs beforehand, the likes of, you know, your Snuts and your Aracaras back in the day. I remember being annoyed because I wasn't able to make one of their gigs at Sneaky's because it was like over 16 and I think I was like 14 at the time. But so I'd always been involved in sort of, you know, the music that way, but I'd never, you know, thrown myself into it until starting writing songs. And then Luke from Sucker basically asked me if I wanted to support Cameo Habitat, which you guys have done your interview with as well. So I went down to the Mash House to support them September 2019, and then I mean it was like amazing. They'd pretty much packed the place out for me as well. So I was playing to a crowd of, you know, new people and a couple of my mates, and then things just grew from there. But that was the first experience of, you know, real grassroots music myself and seeing what it was like. And Cameo had obviously been in it for quite a while, so it was good to get, you know, their advice and their experience. And they're all class lads. So yeah, that was a really nice night, and that definitely made me want to, you know, carry on.
What sort of advice did they give you?
Basically just keep gigging and, you know, yeah, pretty much. It's just gigs and keep going like that, keep making music, and yeah, pretty much stuff like that.
Do you have people that you turn to look for advice?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there's Boo Herodine's helping me just now. He's out in Glasgow. And then Paul, another guy from DF, they're really good mentors to have. And it's definitely good to have people, you know, to look up to like that. And basically, when something comes my way, I'm always, you know, super excited and throw myself at it without really thinking. And it's good to have people like that on board to sort of slow you down and actually take you through the process of things and keep you right, basically, for sure.
Is that mirrored in the songwriting process as well? That kind of idea of throwing yourself into it and just going with the flow and the energy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have more people on board just now to sort of throw stuff by and, you know, bounce ideas off, definitely. So yeah, I mean, it's taken the songwriting process probably in a good direction, I think, but yeah.
What part of the process excites you most usually?
Oh, of the songwriting or just of music in general?
Do both. I was going to say songwriting, but yeah, we'll go for both.
Songwriting, probably just like finding a catchy. I usually start with the chorus and build out of that. So, I mean, I quite like finding wee sentiments, just like wee ideas, and then usually that just becomes the lyrics of the chorus, and I build songs around that. But for music-wise, as much as I love the songwriting and, well, gigging's the best part, but obviously you can't really do that right now. But other than the songwriting and stuff like that, I love like pre-release and post-release. I love bothering people and, you know, like begging people to play it on the radio or feature it in their blog or, you know, post on Instagram or something. That is just fun to me.
Are the feelings pre-release and post-release quite different for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, pre-release, I'm a bit of a nervous wreck. I usually take like 2 days before just to sit by myself and do nothing. And then the days after, I'm pestering literally everyone on social media to stream the song or whatever. So it's definitely two different feelings. One's quite peaceful, but nervous at the same time, and then after is just manic. But yeah.
How long does it take usually for the manic part of the process afterwards to kind of smooth out and you get back to base level?
Probably about a week. I mean, a week for release, push it as hard as you can, get out there, and then for the weeks after, you just have to hope that your first week efforts have done enough to sort of push it forward itself rather than you literally shoving it down people's throats. But yeah, I mean, you write the song, you get it out to as many people possible, and then you hope that they share it to their friends, and it sort of grows from there, I guess.
Do you ever write during that manic period afterwards? Can you ever kind of see what comes from that energy?
I can't. It's literally just too much. I'm usually completely exhausted by the end of it. Like the Edinburgh release week, I was exhausted. But yeah, I've never written before that. But that would probably be interesting to actually try and do. But yeah, that's one of my biggest issues, is not writing after I've released a song. So currently I've not got any songs, no back catalogue or anything. But yeah, that's definitely something to work on in the new year and see how things go.
How big a role does physically where you are at that moment in time, whether that be Edinburgh or New York or Glasgow, how big a role does that have on the creativity and the songwriting process? What kind of role does it play?
I think being here is quite hard, especially being in student halls, because you've not really got a lot of time to yourself, and that's quite important to me when you're songwriting. Not that I don't absolutely love it, and I think the good thing is spending time here is definitely going to give me the experiences to sort of go back home to Edinburgh, where I've got peace and quiet basically, to sort of just chill out and write songs by myself, and hopefully bounce ideas off some other people now. But yeah, I think Edinburgh is probably the place where I best write my songs, because I can just sit in my room and be by myself. Even when I was in New York, I had the idea for Edinburgh there and wrote some of the lyrics, but didn't even piece it together until I came home. I think that my bedroom's definitely that creative space that I need.
Where do you feel most at home in the world?
Oh, probably in Edinburgh, for sure. I mean, it's where I grew up, and it's where all my mates grew up with me and stuff, so yeah, that's probably where I feel most at home.
Thank you very much, man.
No worries, thank you for having me, man, appreciate it.